Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. Welcome to Friday. We have agua, we have water. How crazy is that? I didn't get a chance to get a Monster Energy drink, so all I had was coffee this morning. How's everybody doing? I appreciate you guys being here. Welcome to Massive Iron Live, the longest running lifting podcast in the history of the universe, the longest running lifting live Q&A in the history of the universe. I'm going to be talking about I've decided to do lead-off topics every Friday. So this week I'm going to be talking about Dorian Yates training in the early years, long before he was, kind of doing the type of approach that, you associate him with, the really hardcore dungeon type of training. So before we get into that, let me learn how to speak. Before we get into that, if you are new here, this is a Q&A. I want to help you out in any way I can. Massive Iron is dedicated to simplifying training, nutrition, boiling things down to the basics, common sense. Don't hesitate to post up a question. I'm here to help in any way I can. So don't feel like a question's been asked 1,000 times before. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. If your question doesn't go through, try shortening it or rewording it. Sometimes longer questions don't go through, and sometimes YouTube doesn't like your word use for whatever reason. Now, we got the beard coming back in. It's been a pretty good week of training. Back at jiu-jitsu, and shoulders are a little bit beat up. I started doing some prehab work, some Cuban presses and band pull-aparts. I'm trying to keep the shoulders healthy. I'm 58, so taking up jiu-jitsu is an interesting experience. I'm not going to give up on it yet, obviously, but I want to find a way to keep my shoulders healthy. So how you guys doing? I started doing a full body workout the last 2 weeks. Thought by, spreading out the abuse, so to speak, that it would be better on the shoulders. I'm not really finding that the case. And I'm just finding I really don't give a crap about full body workouts. I don't like them. Some people do, some people don't. I don't really care how you train. You guys know that, but I just can't get in a groove with the full body workout. So I don't know. Anyway, before we get into things, and I've started doing trail running again the last couple of weeks. I'm back out doing about an hour, 2 to 3 times a week when I can squeeze it in. Really enjoying that just in time for the winter months. All right. Before we get started, custom workouts. If you'd like a custom workout, coaching is what I do for a living, but I also do quite a few custom workouts. I usually spend my Saturday and Sunday mornings doing custom workouts. I was all caught up till about an hour ago, and I just had somebody sign up. If you would like a custom workout, it is only $39. So you can head over to here, search custom in the search button, search box, or you can go to the services and simply search custom, and it'll pop up for you. That's how the search works on the internet. But it's only $39. And it's not just some cookie cutter nonsense. Everything is constructed based off your split preferences, your exercise preferences, injury history. And then when you're done, you can send me questions, comments, form videos, whatever. So it's a good way to get a solid workout routine and get on track. If you would like coaching is what I do for a living. I would love to work with you. You can head over here, just check out the coaching tab. Black Friday is coming. There's a new coaching special this year. It's going to be a 2-year for clients that have been on for quite a while and want to save an additional amount of money. But for those of you that coaching is only $89.40 after the first month, I'm able to keep very reasonable rates because I do coach for a living. And no disrespect to anybody else, but not a lot of people coach for a living. It's kind of a side gig for them, and they have a limited amount of people. This is what I do 70 hours a week when it's my main focus, and I'm able to keep my rates at only $89.40 a month. But if you go over here to the coaching tab, you are able to get an entire year for $6 $6.99 if you're interested in that. All right, let's get into things. Enough blabbering. What do we got going on? I'm going to talk about today. Let's see if I can. What's better, minimizing my big fat head, putting my big fat head down here? I'm going to be talking real quick about Dorian Yates training during the early years. Somebody on Team Massive, and if you're not a part of Team Massive, check out my last video. And you can see the Discord link. It is a free community. We keep it troll-free, nonsense-free. Anyway, somebody from the Discord group came over and posted a link last night, and I thought it would be a good introductory topic. I'm going to cover this really quickly, and then we'll get into your questions. So I found it interesting because we all know the blood and guts style of training Dorian Yates. And, we associated that with his Olympia years more than anything. But we're going to look at how Dorian Yates basically trained from 83 to 85. 83 to 85, so about 7 years before he won the Olympia. So those of you that don't know, Dorian Yates was known as the Shadow. He won the Olympia 6 times in a row from 92 to 97. And the following program appeared in Flex magazine somewhere in the mid-1990s. I don't have the exact date or the exact magazine. You can do your own research, but it was a 7-day cycle philosophy. Dorian Yates disregarded the conventional idea that training must fit on a 7-day schedule, emphasizing that human physiology operates on a 24-hour clock, not a calendar. So basically, when we say it's a 7-day cycle philosophy, what we mean is Dorian Yates didn't really stick to that. He just ran his own cycle. In the massive iron world, it is what we would call a flexible schedule. Not really that complicated. He had A and B workouts, and he basically rotated between the A and B workouts. And I'll show you how he did that. For large body parts, he did 3 exercises. For small body parts, he did 2. Now, when I mention large body parts and small body parts, some people get upset that we label certain things as small body parts. So I like to call them primary areas of focus and secondary areas of focus, because like on hamstrings, when I call them small body parts, people get upset. I'm not saying a hamstring is a small body part. I'm saying after training your legs, you don't need as much hamstring work. Mileage may vary. So Dorian is kind of using the same structure, with the exception of the thighs. Only 2 exercises, squats and hack squats, with an extra set of squats for compensation. He focused primarily on basic compound movements for overall growth, and the rest periods were only as needed, no socializing during sets. Training was focused and efficient. He was in the gym to get it done. He wasn't in there to mess around. Forced reps, sometimes after about a year, he said he added in 1 to 2 forced reps on the last set of one basic exercise per body part. In the massive iron world, you could do something like savage work, because forced reps can be very tedious if you don't have a training partner. So you can do something like the savage protocol on the second set of an exercise if you want. Basically, you take 10 deep breaths after finishing the second set, and then you perform max safe reps. You take another 10 deep breaths and you perform max safe reps. So that would be my riff on Dorian's split if you don't want to do forced reps or you don't have a training partner. He started this around 1983, and he maintained it for a couple of years until his first novice competition in 1985, where he was weighing 210 pounds. And he started this program weighing, what did he weigh, 180 pounds? So here is the program. That's what you all came for. You have 2 workouts, workout 1, workout 2, workout A, workout B, whatever. So he would rotate it. On Monday, he would do workout 1. On Wednesday, he would do workout 2. And on Saturday, he would do workout 1. On Monday, he'd come back, do workout 2. Thursday, come back, do workout 1. Saturday, come back and do workout 2. So he's training 3 days a week, rotating between A and B workouts. Not rocket surgery. If you guys wanted to do something like this, I would take it even deeper than Dorian and say you do not need to, stick to 3 days a week. You could do it every other day. You could use an A-B split and simply insert rest days when you need. All righty, let's look at the exercises. This is workout 1 and workout 2 for any of you who want to screenshot this. I also have this PDF. If any of you want this PDF, you can head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman. And I'm going to be posting it up on Instagram. You can message me and I'll send it to you for free. No strings attached. Workout number 1, we have chest, we have back, we have delts, we have abs. So basically an upper body workout. Classic upper body, no arms, just chest, back, and delts. So we have, for chest, boom, bench, incline press, incline flies. So 5 sets of inclines. Basically conventional rep ranges. It worked for him. You can, if you want to use a program like this, just adjust the rep ranges to fit your preferences. You might want to do like a bench press or an incline dumbbell. You could work in some A-B variations and do an incline dumbbell 1 week or a dumbbell the next. If you didn't like doing flies, which I don't particularly care for, you could do a barrel press, you could do a machine chest press, you could do dippy dips. Doesn't matter. Don't get caught up in it doesn't matter. Don't get caught up in the weeds. Don't try to mimic Dorian's workout. Try to learn from Dorian's workout. Back, you had chins or pull downs, barbell rows, and deadlifts. Now, there's a lot of people in the modern landscape that don't consider deadlifts to be a back exercise, and they are what I call, what do I have a kind word for how to describe them? Slightly undereducated. No disrespect, but the deadlift is wonderful for the upper back. It's a unicorn lift, and it's going to hit a lot of different body parts, but it certainly is very good at packing on back size. So a very brutal, straightforward approach. We have a vertical pull, we have a horizontal row, and we have a deadlift. Pretty close to the massive iron style, though I would probably add in a secondary row, like a seated cable row or something like that. Delts, BTN press. Oh, my goodness. One of the classics. I used this for about 20 years. Side laterals, bent laterals. So a rear delt exercise. But he did have a big overhead press. I find this curious because in the modern landscape, you have a lot of haters who don't like overhead presses because they hit the front delts. Well, they also hit the side delts. Breaking news, it's a compound exercise, and they hit the side delts quite well. If you can't do a BTN press, you can do a seated or standing overhead press, pin press, whatever you want. Really good choice as a backup. Not everybody can do a BTN press without beating up their shoulders. And then he did a little bit of ab work. Mileage may vary, crunches and hanging liggy raises. So straight upper body workout with no arms. Now, workout 2 is legs and arms. In the massive iron world, we would call this a torso limbs split. And if you want to go over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, and search torso limbs, or go to my main page of my YouTube and search torso limbs, you can find it. I just created a torso limbs as something that I thought was a good way to approach training. I had no idea Dorian Yates used it. I'm not pretending I created the torso limb split. There's millions of lifters that came before me. And obviously, there's a million ways to split things. But this is very much like the massive iron torso limb split. You have torso or upper body, chest, back, shoulders, and you have the limbs, legs, and arms, thighs, hamstrings, bicepticons, and tricepticons. So Dorian was basically using the torso limbs. I have an entire PDF on this if you would like it. For thighs, quads, doing squats and hacky wackies. For hammy whammies, leg curls, some calf raises. And for bicepticons, barbell curls, single arm preacher curls, tricep pushdowns, lying tricep extensions. If you took this into the modern landscape, into the influencer science-based realm, everybody would have critiques because Is he hitting this head of the tricep? Is he hitting that head of the tricep? Why isn't he focusing on this head of the tricep? Why isn't he maximizing that head of the tricep? Wow, 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 wow. Classic overthinking. You can tell from this program it is exactly something that would line up with the style of programming I teach, the classic style of programming, not overthinking, brutality, etc., etc. So that is it. Let me know what you guys think. Very similar to the classic massive iron style, very similar in nature to the torso limbs. And I'm not just stating that to honk my own horn, right? But what I try to teach is very classic lifting, not anything complicated, classic movements, not overthinking things, not spending 82 hours a week analyzing which head of the triceps is this hitting, which head of the triceps is that hitting, what is the overall profile of this lift, what is the overall profile of that lift. Even if you look at his hamstring work, he did squats and hacks, and then he just did leg curls. Just did. Seemed to work for him. All right, let's dive into things. Big Joe B, how's it going, Joe B? Good to see you. There's a weird feature here where you can kind of see the latest comments. Maybe I'll keep that up. What do you guys think? I'll keep that up. If you can see it, is it a distraction? Those are the comments that are coming up. Woodulus from Scotland. Early Dorian trained in the prison gym. What years were that? I'm so detached from that. Big Rico, how's it going, Rico? How's the new vulgar system going for you? Well, I just am having a hard time with full body. Frequency. Most of my clients are on frequency, and I don't have an issue with it, at all. It's just not something I particularly enjoy. I put it together for people that like frequency as an option. I've ran it for a couple of weeks. I just get a little bit bored jumping around in body parts. So mileage may vary. Very effective. I like doing the Savage work. The Savage work is completely flexible on the vulgar system. You can do it for some exercises. You can drop it for others. If you haven't seen the new Vulgar Full Body, you can check out the video I recently did on a channel called Massive Iron, which exists right before your very eyes. All right, Big Scotty MC representing the WIS. Aloha, big fella. I followed your channel since you were in your early 50s. How in your experience has training kept you young? Good question. I'm 58. I just turned 58 11 days ago, for those of you keeping score at home. And I feel freaking amazing. I don't know how else to describe it. I feel normal. I'm at jiu-jitsu, just moving people around like feathers. I feel good. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I feel like I was at 22. I mean, there are certain things you have to adjust, but I feel absolutely amazing. I went out last week. I had 11 hours of activity, 4 full body workouts, 2 1-hour trail runs, 3 hours of jiu-jitsu. I'm recovering fine. I was in a calorie deficit. I feel great. I mean, I feel better than I should. And I can't speak volumes enough about the benefits of resistance training as you age. There are some of these coaches that, I don't know, I'm not judging. I'm not judging at all. I don't really care what anybody does, but it is curious because you do see some of these strength coaches that turn to whiskey and, not really intense training, and they just kind of let themselves go. They're still good coaches, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to feel like crap. This is how I'm going out. I'm going out rough. I'm going out hard. I'm going out heavy. I'm going out brutal. That's how I'm going out. I'm letting you guys know how I'm going out. I'm going out my way. I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to push out. I'm not going to wimp out. I'm not going to crap out. I'm not going to do anything ridiculous. I am going out punching. That is the way I'm going to go. I'm going to punch hard. I'm going to punch heavy, and I'm going to punch continuous until I can no longer punch. And then I'll be sitting back in the chair saying, I gave it all. It is time to relax. And even then, I'm going to be punching from the chair. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to stick with jiu-jitsu. It's just kind of a fun thing I'm enjoying right now. I don't know if my body can handle it, but I am going out punching. And that's just the way it's going to be. I'm not afraid of beating up the knees, beating up the elbows, beating up the stuff. Something's going to fall off sooner or later. Something. But in the meantime, I can tell you I feel 10 times better than I should. We all age. We can't fight age. We can't fight the inevitable. But we sure can get up every day and do what we can do. And just being strong has added so much value to my life. Even now, I'm still learning new things and adding new things. So one of the challenges with jiu-jitsu, I've had 13 sessions so far, just for reference, is that my shoulders, my rotator cuff, my shoulders feel a little bit beat up because I'm not used to all the pulling and pushing at unique angles, right? So that's a new thing for me. So I'm learning, I'm evolving, even at my age. I've started to do Cuban presses and band pull-aparts and rotator cuff work. I'm getting a club, and I'm going to start doing club swings, trying to more bulletproof my shoulders. I'm not going out, lightly. I'm going to continue to do everything I can. Big Lee. How's it going, Big Lee? Just a reminder, starting in 2026, I am going to be opening up my home gym. Anybody passing through can come lift with me as long as we set it up in advance. Usually it's going to have to be on a Saturday or a Sunday. And, I can't promise that I'm going to have all the time in the world to linger around and shoot the bull or whatever. I do have a life, but I want to open up the doors and meet more of you. I'm going to be traveling if I can. I'm going to start structuring it. I'm going to set up a date where I come to the UK and set up a date maybe close to the Arnold where everybody can come down here and we can do a seminar. And when I come to the UK, I'm going to be spending a couple of days in England, maybe a day or two in Sweden. I have a lot of clients in Sweden, Norway. And then I'm probably going to go off for 3 or 4 days in seclusion in Scotland and just roam around by myself. But look for that. On last week's live, I was in QMC. I don't know what that is. Sorry. Doctor said to take it easy and to manage stress better. Like every doctor would tell you, manage stress, generic checkbox. I'm not making fun of it, because stress is extremely debilitating. But yeah, it's just to get good sleep, manage stress, eat right, say your prayers, eat your vitamins like Hulk Hogan, whatever. Based on your advice, I switched to a full body 2 days off. Good, man. Whatever is working for you. Just take care of yourself, whatever. I wasn't making fun of that. I just find it's just the generic doctor advice. In regards to Jeff Nippard drama, what are your thoughts on his actual bench press program? Okay, first off, I'm not when I talk about this, I'm not ripping on the person Jeff Nippard. Okay, I'm not. I'm just telling you what I think on his programming. So don't cross the wires, because I have to put this caveat in, because when I talk about somebody like Jeff Nippard, right? When I talk about him, invariably somebody that's a fan of his will come in and swoop in and attack me. And I'm not attacking people. We're talking lifting and programming. So Jeff had 4 sets of whatever reps it was at 85%. Was it 4 sets of 5 reps at 85%? It's physically impossible. Now, everybody's at different stages of programming. I program in the real world, not a criticism of Jeff. I coach for a living, so I know that 85% is going to be about 5 to 6 1 rep max for 99.999% of individuals. 1 set of 5 to 6. Jeff Nippard. 1 set of 5 to 6 is 85%. So if you're doing 4 sets of 5, it's going to be much lower than 85%. So It's a mistake. Um, I have made a ton of programs over the years, probably more than anybody on the damn planet, I would say. Do I have a couple mistakes? Probably. I mean, life is life. You mean well, you do well, you're putting together things, you come up with ideas, and I'm not making excuses for them. Occasionally, you're going to make something you look back on that you would want to change. Do I have anything in my history where I would put together 4 sets of 5 at 85? No, I would immediately know that that's impossible. It's physically impossible. Anybody reading the program could adjust. Anybody reading Jeff Nippard, his program could adjust and just do 4 sets of 5 and work up. It's like Athlean X. What did he say? What was it? Doing 10 by 10 on squats, or what was his program at 90% or 85%? Whatever it was ridiculous. There can be, I will say, Jeff Nippard aside, there can be a disconnect between coaches that coach people and coaches that present information and put together programs on the internet. Not a criticism, but when you see a math disconnect in this type of Jeff Nippard program, you kind of think, he put it on paper. It probably put it together rather quickly. There was a math disconnect. I don't really know what to say more than that. It is what it is. Not the biggest crime in the history of lifting, that's for sure. I recently put JM press back in, and while I have a love-hate relationship with the lift, I've discovered doing it on a low incline, that's the money. Yeah, I've done it on the low incline. I don't have any issues with that at all. It's, a good exercise. Basically, with any of these exercises like close grip bench or JM press, if you want to do it at a slight incline, that's absolutely fine. Big J, how's it going, my friend? Is the cut a good time to reduce volume? Yeah, it certainly can be. I mean, you're holding steady. It's almost impossible to lose muscle mass, and you are in a energy deficit and a glucose glycogen deficit. So reducing the volume a little bit is, certainly perfectly fine. Big Richard, how's it going, Big Richard? Good to see you. Happy Friday. The story of the week: I come unprepared. I come unprepared. Would you like a jiu-jitsu story? So I am basically training, rolling, whatever you want to call it, with a bunch of folks that are ranked white belts. I've got to train with a black belt, purple belt, blue belts. Not seen a brown belt yet, but a lot of the men are just ranked white belts. I'm a ranked white belt. So my instructor said this week, so far since opening up the academy here locally, I've had more classes than anybody, simply because I like doing it, not because I'm a special person, right? So anyway, you're learning a lot of things very, very quickly in jiu-jitsu if you're paying attention. And one of the things I'm learning from having a minimal amount of time with a black belt and blue belts and purple belts is to kind of relax a little bit, be a little bit more strategic, not be so much of a bulldozer, be more technical, think about things a little bit more. But we are doing drills, and because not everybody has been at all the classes, I've been at 13 since it opened up 6 weeks ago. Some of the guys have been at 5, some of them have been at 4, whatever. You get it. So I am paired up with a guy mid-50s or mid-40s, late 40s. He's probably a buck 170. Doesn't have a lot of upper body strength. Not a criticism. It's just is what it is. Good guy, decent guy. And we we're doing a drill. We're like trying to teach how to get to the back mount from side control. Trying to get to the back mount. I believe it was from side control. So once you go into the back mount, then we're teaching, how to set up for a couple of different chokes. So, one of them is getting the arm under here and doing the thing and moving the arm and moving the other arm and slowly getting it under the neck. So we're trying to move from point A to point B, basic side or basic back mount into a specific type of choke. Okay. So you're in, you got somebody's behind you. They got their legs over your legs, and they're trying to take these steps, 6, 7 steps, to go from back control into a choke, right? So the guy I'm with, just from back mount, he immediately just starts choking me. Like that's the drill for him. He just immediately starts ramming it. He's not a big and strong guy, but it just immediately starts choking me. He just gets behind me and starts, and he kept doing it. I'm like, dude, you're not doing the drill. I was very polite. You're not doing the drill. You're just choking me. Like, if I don't care who it is, your mom, whatever. If they start doing, right against your Adam's apple when you're not expecting it, and just violently pushing in on your Adam's apple, you're going to tap me like, dude, you're just doing some random stuff. You're not actually doing the drill, right? You're not actually. So, long story short, he gets him back mount, and he just, and my Adam's apple, like, I'm tapped, and he's just doing it. I'm like, dude, I'm tapping. Okay, because you're, number one, you're not doing the drill. Number two, you're cranking on my Adam's apple with your forearm, even though he's not big and strong. It hurts like heck. I mean, you're putting a lot of pressure on your Adam's apple directly back. So the first time he does, I'm like, you're not doing the drill. So he's like, okay. And then he gets back in the back mount and he does it again. I'm like, I'm tapping. He's not paying attention. And then he does it a third time. And then we finally get in the groove. But that was Tuesday. I came home Tuesday night with the worst inflamed sore throat of my life, because he was literally, not doing the drill, not paying attention to the tap, not being hard. I love what I'm doing, but I've had a sore throat all week. It's slowly getting better. But he would just go straight jacking up, choking me without any maneuvering. So you don't know what's coming. And it was absolutely harsh. But you have to give these guys a little bit of leeway. I mean, I'm a white belt, so, I'm a newbie as well. But you really have to pay attention in this sort of thing, because you're in that sort of environment where people are learning. But that's my story of the week. I've had a brutal sore throat all week long, and it has not been fun. I'm very aware with my strength. Like, I'll make sure if I'm doing something, I'm not just going to crank on people. I'm not there to hurt people. So I will ease into chokes or locks or whatever we're doing. And I'm always asking people, you okay? You okay? I always want to get that feedback to make sure they're okay. Not there to kill people. Hey, Steve. So all else being equal, train as always with a good selection of exercises, 4 days on main lifts on those 4 days, and isolations on rest days. I don't know anything about his program. Is it normal to feel out of breath between sets? It depends on the exercise, but absolutely. One thing you need to understand is that isn't always a lack of conditioning. It can be a lack of conditioning to a degree. But if you just picked a barbell off the rack and held it, or if you just put 135 pounds on your back, safety squat bar, leverage squat, whatever, and held it, or grab some dumbbells and held them, holding the weight off the ground on your back or in your hands is going to start to slowly elevate your heart rate. Doesn't matter if you have superhuman conditioning. Your heart rate is going to slowly elevate. So it's very, very normal. That doesn't mean you can't work on conditioning or work capacity. But even after 40 years, doing squats wins me. I did leverage squats 2 days ago. And after every set, my heart rate's a little bit elevated. I'm a little bit out of breath. And then I rest and I feel better after 2 to 3 minutes. And then I go do the next set. So it's not inherently your conditioning, it's just a part of lifting. And honestly, on certain things like squats, it's probably never going to go away. It might be a little bit better. And thank you, sir. I appreciate you tuning in. Big Jeffrey. Good morning. Happy Friday. Good morning to you. Shelly Turner. Good morning. Team Gaines. Good to see you, Shelly. Big Sam. Currently cutting for 5 months, and I've lost 42 pounds. That's pretty good pace, my friend. Much respect. Tip the hat. 8 pounds a month. Any advice for someone who has been so focused on getting lean? Number one, there's 2 pieces of advice. Number one, stabilize your weight. Go for 5 days to a week. Go to about where you think maintenance is. Wait for your weight to level off, and then add in a couple hundred calories. The biggest mistake people make when transitioning the massing is they take this area called the mouth, called the pie hole, called the food intake valve, and they put too much food in it. And all of a sudden they're up 7, 8, 10 pounds in 2 weeks. And they've gone from all that hard work to fatty McFatterton. They're really bad habits. It's okay, like after you come out of a cut, to go to a Chinese buffet or have a half of a cheesecake or whatever, as long as you're not abusing the body. I'm not encouraging abusive behavior, but it's okay to have a little bit of fun. But the biggest mistake people make when they get into massing is that they gain weight too rapidly. Bulking is not a child's game, okay? It is easily something many people mess up. You have to be fairly consistent with your food intake. We're not trying to turn you into obsessive compulsive idiots. We're not trying to create eating disorders, but you have to have some structure. You just can't, as mom would say, go around all willy-nilly. Right? You just can't be random. Your weight's going to go up. You're going to turn into fatty McFatterson. So you have to have a structure. You have to have a plan. You have to try to stay within a reasonable calorie intake. That's the biggest mistake. And you really have to weigh in 2-3 times a week early to make sure your weight isn't moving too quickly. For any of you that are interested in more information on proper bulking, you can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, and you can just search bulk. You can search bulk, and you can find my book, Massive Bulking. You can also find it. There we go. I think I found it. You can also go over to YouTube. All my advice, you can go get the PDF. You can go get the ebook. It has like a lot of information in it. I'm about to show that to you. Or you can get the information for free here on YouTube. I always give you guys, in every case, all the information I have for free. This is Massive Bulking. Again, you can go over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, up there in the corner. You can go to my website, search this, or go to the main page of my YouTube and search that. This is Massive Bulking, and it's a ton of information. A ton of information. Look, it even has things that help you figure out portion control. These are adjustments based on how much weight you gain your first week of the bulk. If you're losing weight, add this many calories. If you gain this weight, subtract this many calories. Basic starting points if you don't know what your maintenance level is. And then we have all kinds of adult BMI charts, bonus materials, meta-analysis of weight gain over time, all kinds of stuff. Food choices, protein intake, structuring diets, 5 lessons I learned from my transformation, a lot of peripheral information, structuring meal plans, samples. This is a lot of information, stuff on natural bodybuilding potential, to know how far away you are from your natural bodybuilding potential. This is probably, it's 63 pages. And I will tell you what, if you can find a better, concise 63 pages on lean bulking on the internet, you let me know, because I have something to learn from it. I did what I could to put together a lot of information. There you have it. All right, where are we at? Big Paul, how's it going? Just finished my workout, back, shoulders, and tricepticons. Hope you had a good workout, my friend. Big Paul from Mexico of New. 100 curls a day keeps the doctor away. That could well be. Hopefully that's the case. Big Ernie P. How's it going, Big Ernie P? Good to see you, my friend. Rico, do you ever look back and realize, where did time go? Every day, man. I'm 58 years old. We are not messing around anymore. When I tell people I'm in the last act of my life, last stage of my life, we're not playing around. Every day is a gift. And the only thing I can tell you guys that are younger is it's going to go quick. You might be 24, you might be 25. Before you know it, you wake up, you're 30, you have kids, boom, you're 50, and then you're doing the thing. You got to make it count, man. I don't care about age. You're struggling to lose fat. You think about your goals every day. You're in this rut. You're in this endless cycle. Get it together, man. All of you. Stop wasting days. You're in this rut. You're spinning your wheels. You're waiting for the opportune time. Get up and get after it. Time is wasting. You know, time is slipping by. You're wasting time. Don't do that. Do what you can today. Take a step forward. Don't try to be perfect. Get up, get after it. Make the day count. Be thankful for the day. It's going by quickly. Before you know it, I'm going to be 70 years old making YouTube videos, and people be laughing at me like, look at the old guy, right? That's the way it's going to be. But I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep teaching until the wheels fall off. And I'm thankful for each and every day like this that I can help you. We're all on this journey together. We're all here to help each other. I don't give a crap about all this internet fighting. And you know what? I got into this because I love movement, because I love fitness. Way back when I was 12, 13, I would go run. I would do step-ups. I would go play baseball. I'd go play basketball. I just loved being active. And push-ups and resistance training, and even to this day, why do you tank up ultra running? You know, why? Because I want to. Why do you take up jujitsu? You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Okay. You know, movement. I didn't get into this to, you know, I didn't start a YouTube channel 479 years ago to be an influencer. Nobody even knew what an influencer was. It's just a guy in the basement. I'm so blessed right now that I get to coach for a living because I made the silly decision to start a YouTube channel and start writing about lifting. And, you know, where is this going? I got into this because I like movement. And I like to just wanted to teach people the things I've learned. And we're in a crazy world right now with influencers and tons of information and people out putting out information just to profit. I didn't make a penny off this pretty much until I started coaching. You know, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I want you guys always to know I'm here for you. I never turned down a question. I'm always available in every way. You're not bothering me. My clients are not bothering me. I tell my clients when they get on, you are not bothering me. You are my priority. My priority is people. My priority is you. From this, I've been able to earn a living and coach for a living, and I'm super thankful. And I'm not perfect. I'm always trying to improve my coaching. I'm always trying to improve my communication. But I guarantee when I get up every day, I take this seriously. This meaning you, each of you listening. I take seriously. I don't care what your goals are. People ask me, what type of coaching do you do? I do everything. I have people that run. I have a world champion in timber sports, world champion lumberjack. I do everything. So it's crazy. You know, you look at this fitness landscape, and sometimes I wonder, do these people just like lifting, or are they just, why are they doing this? I don't know, but it's so crazy. I didn't get into this to be around all the drama and the Jeff Nippon. I find it funny and hilarious and mildly interesting, curious. But I don't know, man. I mean, it's such a crazy thing we're surrounded with, guys walking around, I'm Dr. Doolittle and I'm bigger than Mike Menser, and I don't even know what the hell to think of it. I'm just like you. I'm just sitting back going, I don't even know what any of this stuff is. I will tell you one thing though, before I move on to the next question. I'm 58. Have you ever just gone to like Walmart or the grocery store and you see an older person, not disrespect, but just walking around like this? Like with their mouth open, agape? I've always wondered, just curious, not criticism, but like, what is the point in aging when you are just like, everything's normal, you're keeping your mouth shut, and then you find out you're walking the dog one day and you're like this, like your mouth's always open. Just humor, but we've all seen those aging individuals where their mouth is always open. Like, I'm curious, what is the transitory stage where you're like, where you are just going about normal life and then your mouth falls open, you don't close it anymore, even if the flies come in. All right, we've been on for 45 minutes, 48 minutes. I thank you guys. Before we continue, please, if you would like coaching, head over here, click the coaching tab. You can also click custom workouts or services. I'd love to build you a custom workout. Just a little humor. I hope you don't mind some humor on this Friday. Big Sam, on a body part split, what would you change to maximize arm growth without adding in an arm or junk day? There's a body part split pretty much is 4 days a week. You can do it 3 days a week, but it's going to be very, very cramped. So the only thing, if you're doing 3 days a week, not what I would recommend. And then if you're adding in extra arm work, it's just going to be a long session. You could do 2 a days, or you could do a mini secondary arm workout later in the day. One of the ways you could do things would be to do chest in the morning and then like triceps at night, a shorter workout where you have a little bit more leeway, then get up and do back, and then do biceps, and then get up and do shoulders. The only other thing you can do is, add in more arm work. You said on a body part split, what would you change to maximize arm growth without adding in arm or junk day? The only thing you can do is focus on progressive overload and adding in more arm work, but you don't want to overdo it. I mean, if your dumbbell bench is 50, you can add in 7,000 sets for triceps, but your dumbbell bench is still 50. Let's be real here. So, I mean, you still have to get your base stronger in the lane of hard training. You can add 50 million. I get this a lot from people that want big, juicy forearms or big, juicy neck or big, juicy calves. They want minor body parts that are huge, right? Huge. But their strength levels are relatively weak, not a criticism. The issue is you can want a big neck, you can want big forearms, but if your lifts are relatively small, you're not going to have 14-inch forearms with a 50-pound dumbbell bench. You still have to build your base. And this is a big disconnect in lifting. I want big neck, I want big forearms. You got to get everything big. And when I tell people, You have to build your base big, and then your forearms will naturally grow and your neck will naturally grow. And that'll be 90% of your neck and forearm work. A lot of people are like, I'm not sure if I believe this. I'm just going to do a lot of forearm work. I'm going to do a lot of bicep work. I'm going to do a lot of arm work. I'm not saying isolation work doesn't have value, but if you remain weak on your base, you're not going to have big forearms. You're not going to have a big neck. You're not going to have big arms. So your base is hard training, the lane of hard training, making every set count, getting as strong as you can on that stuff, and then adding in a reasonable amount of volume on your arms, forearms, whatever, to the point where it doesn't punish you and you can recover. Big Ryan, good to see you, Big Ryan. Always a good day when Ryan is in the universe. Big Charles Thompson. Good morning, Steve. I've tried to send my behind the neck press. Where do I send it? You can paste a link to YouTube right here, and I'll take a look at it. You can email me, benthebarman@gmail.com, benthebarman@gmail.com, or you can head over to Instagram at benthebarman. That's my email, benthebarman@gmail.com. You can either do that or WhatsApp, 513-649-2666, 513-649-2666. WhatsApp, don't text me. I don't like texts. You can WhatsApp. You can WhatsApp me at any time. You can send me a message. I would be glad to help. Big Paul DeVito. I had the New Testament album Parabellum cranking during my workout. Excellent. Anybody that missed yesterday, Testament released a cover, Metallica cover, and it absolutely sounds wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Let's see. Justin put, I think you should ip. I'm not sure what you mean, man. I'm training 5 days a week and recently started doing yoga. Good. But I'm seeing videos saying yoga or increased fun. No. And here's what you do. You go over to those channels and you unfollow them because they're what we would call knuckleheads. That's a polite way of putting it. You don't want to stretch immediately before resistance training because there is some research that it can potentially be a hindrance. Is this overthinking? Yeah, probably. But you probably shouldn't do anything that's really intense. I mean, you want a tense muscle. You want something that's not super pliable when you're lifting. You don't want to be super loosey-goosey on squats. You actually want to have tension and stress. But anyway, it's nonsense, okay? Stretch, do what you want to do. I probably wouldn't stretch before lifting. That's probably not the brightest thing. You can do minor stretches, like I do a few of these things, get stuff, stretch out the wrists a little bit, the joints. But you probably don't want to do a 40, 35-minute stretching protocol. Just save your energy, do your normal warm-ups. But this stuff that doing yoga and improving your flexibility will hinder your strength gains. These people are idiots. Okay. I don't know how else to say it. I'm just being honest with you. If we were sitting across from a bar with each other, these people are idiots. And if you tell them that would probably radically incite them to come over and attack me. But if you are smart about your training and you're doing progressive overload, being flexible isn't going to hinder you. We have a world of athletic individuals competing in the Olympics and rugby and soccer and all kinds of sports, baseball, that have to remain flexible, agile, mobile to perform. They all have very, very solid amounts of natural muscle mass. This is simply not the case. Simply not the case. And anybody, this is fear culture nonsense. And anybody that's telling you this, you need to unfollow. It's as simple as that. They're not the brightest bulb in the bulb box. I think you should up your rates for coaching. Probably not going to do that. I'm at a good place right now, and it's just not as simple as that. We're in a tight space economy wise. And I'm going to keep it reasonable. I have everything I need in life. and I want to work with people. So, I don't, raising the rates just closes the doors to some people. Should you adjust your calories on bulk if you got 9,000 steps in one day? No, no, you can't micro adjust every day. It's a game that will drive you nuts. You have to play the weekly game. If you have a day where you do more than an hour of extra movement, then you can have a couple hundred extra calories. That's a general guideline, not a rule. But if you try to play this, what was my energy expenditure the previous day? It's going to drive you mad. Big Tom, my exercise selection. And I don't see after that. So maybe your message was long or got cut off. Have you ever been to the Indian Mounds outside of Cincinnati? We have literally run everywhere. So yes, I have been there. I don't know that I ran there. We've been there. I pretty much run every mile in Ohio 17,000 times over. We used to go out every day and run for 2 hours. There are some trails in Ohio I can run with my eyes closed. I mean, I'm not even kidding. You can drop me in the woods in Ohio and I'll know immediately where I am by, hey, I know that tree. Sounds a little bit facetious, but we were running 12, 14 hours a week. We would go to different trails just all over the place just to keep ourselves fresh. And wow, man, I have run everywhere in places I probably shouldn't run. And yeah, I've been there. Big JJ. No matter what I do for barbell rows or pendlay rows, I always get more and more upright. I have to see it. It's okay for your torso to move a little bit upright, but if you're getting too far upright on a pendlay row, usually you're using too much weight or you're not disciplined. So I would have to see it. I can't comment without seeing a video, unfortunately. If the 20-second rest period between savage sets allows for only 1 to 2 reps, you could do it. You could bump it up to 25. This is just a starting point. So on any specific exercise, if you're only getting a couple reps and you'd like to get a couple more apples from the tree, so to speak, you could move it up to 25 tested, maybe even 30. That would be perfectly okay. Big Paul, the Dragon of Nightness. A bit of a shock. I had super high energy on a cut in a calorie deficit running 5 miles a day. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, man. I mean, I have been in a cut for this end of my 10th week. I feel normal. Sometimes I feel super hungry. There are times when I eat my second meal at noon or 1, and then I'm going to go, like Tuesday, I did an hour of trail running. And then I came home, took a shower before jiu-jitsu because I want to be squeaky clean and not have nasty stank on the stuff for jiu-jitsu. So I ran for an hour. I drove home. I took a shower, sat in the tub to kind of heat the legs a little bit, and then I went to jiu-jitsu. I had one Greek yogurt at like 2 p.m. and I didn't get to eat till 8. You're hungry, and then you go out and exercise and you forget that hunger. Any of you guys that are struggling with hunger on a cut, the best thing you can do is do something where you get active, or spend something, do something, a hobby or an interest where you're moving around or not thinking of food. But I get energy that I don't even know where I get energy from. You'll feel tired and weak, and then you'll go do an hour trail run, then you do an hour of jiu-jitsu, and you realize, yeah, I was doing pretty darn good. Is it possible to specialize mid-up back, buys and delts at the same time? Would back buys interfere with each other? No, not unless you're doing biceps before back. Structure is everything. So all that matters is that you have a proper structure, a wisely constructed program. There's so many ways to do your programming. Not at all. You just have to be willing to adjust. The biggest mistake people make is like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to specialize this, I'm going to specialize that. Then they'll put together a program, and then something about the program isn't working, so they'll dump the program instead of making adjustments. Jeff Nippod, just find that hilarious. I did your vulgar power and got sore afterwards. I would hope so, man. That's a good sign. Yeah. Rest, pause, work will definitely do that. Sorry if this is a dumb question, but if your deadlift weak point is above the knees, what variation would help you more? Wherever you are noticing a slowing, understand that it is actually slowing several inches before. So if you're noticing it right above the knee, it's probably slowing right below the knee. Generally, this could be a lot of things. Deficit deadlifts aren't going to do the magic trick. You're already strong off the ground. Most people are weak. Even if they have a strong deadlift, most people are weak 3, 4, 5 inches off the ground. The key thing is we want to focus on the basics. We want to focus on building up our quad strength, building up our upper back strength, building up our yoke strength, our trap strength. That's our baseline. And then adding in a variation where we're pulling a little bit higher probably isn't a bad thing, 3, 4, 5 inches off the ground. So that's where I would start without knowing any more. For most people, not for an advanced deadlifter. Thoughts on the Jefferson deadlift? I saw Derek Lunsford do it. Is it good enough for Mr.? Yeah, be careful with that mindset, because there are people doing things that have been doing them for a long, long time that they like, that they're passionate about, probably getting benefit from, that they might not benefit you because you're in a different place, your lower back strength isn't as strong, etc. So try it out. Just be careful. Anytime you're going to introduce a posterior chain movement, you need to be very cautious and treat it like dancing with a bear. Go slow and steady. Big Joe B from Canada. In your opinion, during a bulk, how many days after a calorie bump should calories be adjusted if the weight moves minimally? So if you have a calorie calorie bump on a bulk, we want to probably wait for 5 days, maybe 7 days, to see what's happening, because it's highly unusual for your body weight not to go up. It can happen. I've had guys go from 32 to 4,500 calories without gaining weight. They kind of reach this weird settling point. But we have to be very, very conservative. I would rather be conservative adding calories than to have to pull back a lot. Big Tom Hill. My exercises: legs, back squat, front squat, hack squat, leg PR, hamstring curl, back deadlift, RDL, pendley, T-bar, upper row, chin-ups, chest, bench press, incline, bench press, dumbbell, bench press, shoulders, overhead, Arnold, BTN. That looks pretty sexy. I would just make sure you have 2 variations for your triceps and biceps. Overall, that's a really, really good base. Big Michael from Germany. Freitag. Happy Freitag. Guten Abend. What is Abend? It's not Guten Nacht, is it? That's night. It probably is night. Is Abend day? I don't know. I'm trying to remember my German, so don't hate me. Hey, Team Massive. Happy Freitag. Just want to say thank you for the epic anti-gym clown you posted online. You're welcome. Michael is a client of mine, hard worker. I love each and every one of you, so thank you. Somebody was busting Michael's cojones about his exercise choice and using a slingshot. Imagine somebody on the internet getting upset that you like doing an exercise that is reasonable. Like, get lost, buddy. What are you doing? So Michael says Guten Abend is good evening. Guten Tag, good day. Let's see. I'm trying to remember my German from 8th grade. I'm trying to remember the days of the week. Freitag. Uh, let's see. All I remember is Fröhliche Weihnachten und ein glückliches neues Jahr. And Ich bin eine Krankenschwester. I don't know what that means or even if it's correct. I'm just trying to remember. Big Lee, trying to build up my Mexican country music playlist for Arm Day. That's outside of my pay grade. Cheers from Germany, ballista-based ego lifter. I love your DDP method. For anybody that doesn't know about it, they can check it out for free. Just go search progression methods. And it means I'm a female nurse. I remember I didn't know what it meant. Ich bin eine Krankenschwester. Does that mean I'm a female nurse? Maybe I am. Maybe that's, I don't know. When the low rep sets stall, the high rep sets push up from below. Yeah. One of the good things if you're doing dynamic double progression or using a different weight on each set is it's on its own progression track. And what I have found, especially on things like presses, if you're doing like a heavy 7-rep set, if your back down sets are at like 10 or 12 reps, that strength is almost always going to carry up or float up a little bit. So you're absolutely right. Shelly, I'm so used to saying big, and I just want to say Big Shelly Turner, but not make it sound offensive. When you're 70, I'll be 80, still out here listening. Let's keep going. We're all going to go. We're all going to sit here until we all get so old we can't remember how old we are, and our mouths are going to be agape. We're still going to be curling with our mouths agape. We might not even know what we're doing. What day is it? Right? Who cares? I'm lifting. I'm making gains. Big Tony, happy Friday. Are there any home gym upgrades that you have your eye on? Man, if I could get a machine pullover, any of you want to put together, a collection of cash, fat stacks, throw in a couple of dollar bills for the poor boy. I'm not actually poor, but, I would love to get a machine pullover. I just think they're a wonderful option. I think they're underused, undervalued. That would be my number one choice right now. Is there anything else? I don't know. That's the thing I think about the most, to be honest with you. Big Lee, what country will Greg buy first and convert to a mine for Juga from all the royalties he makes from the Jeff Nepod diss track? Jeff Nepod. I don't know, man. I mean, Greg is busy buying sports cars, so I would just continue to buy sports cars. Can you imagine having that amount of money? I think he makes like $20 to $50 to $100,000 a month on YouTube. And I checked his views yesterday. They're only 20% of Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike is actually making 5 times more. I saw a couple videos this past week about Dr. Mike's views are crashing. I looked at the numbers. They're not actually crashing. They're pretty normal. So all this hype about his niche, his brand collapsing, a lot of hype. Do you recommend a pad for the barbell for the squatty squats? No. You're going to put a pad on your back. You're going to have to force your arms back. It's going to put a lot of stress on your shoulders. Not at all. You just got to place it in the right position. If it hurts, suck it up. Suck it up. Suck it up. Sit-fu. Suck it up. Just got to suck it up. You just got to suck it up. Big Tony, why the bleep do people like Beardsley say what they say with a straight face? I don't have a clue, man. That's one of the great questions. You get these people that say these things. Like if you actually step back and we looked at Dorian's workout starting this, this live video. And thank you for that, Tony. We look at that and you can see when I am creating a structure, like everything I create in the massive iron world, I don't say, hey, let's look at one person's workout and then build a big meta structure on how to structure workouts. That's not what I do. I've spent my life looking at workouts. I look at the conventional, sets per workout and the conventional exercise choice, and I put things together. And when you start to look at all of these things over 70 years, you start to develop a sense for black and white reactionary nonsense. People that say, you must do only 2 sets every 21 days, or you must do the 48 rep range, or whatever the bull crap of the day is. It's not that certain things can't be effective. It's when somebody whips out a black and white, approach saying you must do it this way. No, that's nonsense. We just have to look at the last 70 years of real world data to know it's nonsense. So why do we get people like Beardsley that'll come up with these radical bits and pieces of nonsense? I have no idea. I have no idea how they can be that dumb. And I'm not trying to be, I generally don't like to be this cruel, but Chris Beardsley, a long time ago, a couple of years ago, when he was still dancing with his friend Paula Carter, he made a post. I followed him. This back a couple of years ago on Instagram about some of his dogma. And I said to myself, this is Chris Beardsley. I'm not just going to make a knee-jerk reaction. So I sat down that Saturday and I crafted out the most intelligent response I could. And I stated in the response that it wasn't just some bro reaction. You're dumb. I'm smarter than you. It was the most intelligent response I could give to Chris Beardsley's position, his black and white position, based on the conventional history of lifting. So I wasn't just looking or fishing for a debate. I was countering his information with real world historical perspective, history based. So he blocked me. So I went over to his same post on X, Twitter, whatever it was at the time, and I posted the same response, and he blocked me. And then the next day, Paul Carter came into my DM and threatened me. You are, quoting, paraphrasing, you are lucky I don't go after you. You are so bro science and so meathead. That's what he was saying. Okay, Paul. But I don't know why these guys do this stuff. I don't know if it's ego. I don't know if it's lack of coaching people in the real world. I don't know if it's attention. I don't know. But one thing I will always give you guys is the big picture. Anybody that preaches fear or black or white answers or black or white solutions in this industry is a functional idiot. You can quote me because it's true. If someone says only to do the 4-8 rep range, they do not understand that the demands of every exercise are different. And this is just a generic thing. Maybe they're not saying this, but this is the way it's interpreted. You can only do 4 sets per body part per week, or you should do 30 sets per body part per week, or you should black or white, do the black or white thing. They are a functional idiot. The real meat and potatoes of training is starting at a reasonable point and evolving training based on needs. That is what everybody in the history of lifting that has been successful is doing. You guys see this sliver on social media and on YouTube, this sliver. I've been doing this forever. Tons of transformation stories, tons of working with people in real life, tons of working with power lifters, bodybuilders, chronicled, worked with, looked at, analyzed, endless articles. I've looked at endless articles. I posted endless articles from bodybuilding champions. I've looked at it all. There are so many lifters out there, 99.9% you'll never hear from that are just doing conventional, reasonable stuff because they don't give a rat's patootie about what Beardsley is saying. They don't give a rat's patootie about what Knee Pod is saying. No disrespect meant to any of these guys. but they're doing what it takes in the gym to get results. And when you look at these guys that don't give a rat's rip about any of this hoo-ha, they're pretty much in the conventional, normal levels as far as volume and exercise selection. That's the way it is. And anybody who wants to say it is different is a functional idiot. How do they get there? I have no idea. All I know is I would not want to work with them in the real world. Can you imagine working with one of these people like at your job and having to come in every day and deal with like somebody like Beardsley, who knows it all but has no common sense, no practical application, no real world experience? It would drive you nuts. Do you have any advice on how to reduce soreness? Not really. It's just a part of the process. I mean, you can soak yourself, have hot baths, put on, heat rub, heat balm, maybe do a little bit of active recovery. It's just part of the process. If you are sore, like in your quads for an extended period of time, you might have to reduce that frequency for that specific body part. A lot of times when it comes to frequency, we're like, you must train everything 2 days or every 3 days or whatever the Beardsley, whatever the Beardsley followers are proclaiming. Do the same exercises 3 times a week. Are you going to go catabolic, or you're going to, lose muscle mass? It's just stupid speak, right? Because somebody does squats and it might make them sore, incredibly sore for 5 days, and then we have to adjust in something called the real world, right? Just humor, but it's true. You might have to adjust your frequency on that specific body part. Nothing wrong with that. In your opinion, who had the most shocking or impressive physique transformation in Hollywood? Hold on. That's a really, really good question. I'm going to tell you, you deal with this stuff. I don't know the backstory, right? I'm just going to post this up because I swear he was proclaiming it's natural. Hold on. Present, share screen. Now, there's a lot of things that go on in Hollywood. A lot of short-term guys getting in shape. And they look what I would call outlier, decent natural physiques. A lot of guys in Hollywood, how they went from kind of normalized to a pretty impressive natural physique level in a short period of time is suspect. You can take enhancements and still get up to a pretty solid, what we would call reasonable natural physique. And then you can take enhancements and you don't look natty at all. You look a little bit beyond natty. And then claim you're natty. I believe he claimed he was natural. I'm not begging. I don't give a crap what the dude takes. I really, really don't. But man, I would love to look like that. I would love to look like that. Those delts, arms are a little bit small relative to the delts, but he's got a good chest, good traps, good shoulders. People ask, what in the real world really makes a physique pop and look intense? Well, here it is. The arms are good, but they're not the monsters. The forearms are good, but they're not the monsters. They're good arm size, good forearm size. But what makes this physique pop? Those trapezoids, those deltoids, that chest, that upper body, what we would call the shoulder pad, like a football player's shoulder pad. That's it right there. And then as long as you have reasonable arms and forearms to frame it, you're looking good, man. I mean, people ask, what muscles are the ones in a shirt that's going to make you look like a force of nature? You're looking at it. Traps, delts, and chesticles. Did he say he was natural? I swore he said he was natural. Best physique in pro wrestling. Wow, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Let me pull up one of my favorites. if I can get a good, um, I don't know, hard to find. There's so many good physiques. I don't really watch current pro wrestling, so I would probably just sound like an idiot. Man, there were so many good physiques back in the days, and of course they were enhanced. I don't even know where I'd begin. Big Lee, when you visit the UK, will you be coming to Nottingham? I don't know. I got to plan everything out. I mean, I have clients all over the UK. Just huge for client base, and I have clients all over. I'm probably going to want to get outside of London just to get away from the hustle and bustle, but where I go, I don't know. I might do 2 days, just to, if I can what I really would like to do is about a 3-hour seminar, at some gym where we go in, we go over like squat form, deadlift form, and then we go over everything, like how to do the seated cable row, how to maximize the lat pull down, how to maximize a curl. Just go through stuff, really quick education, then do Q&A at the end for like an hour. And then maybe go hit some beer, some food, and maybe go out for a hike, see the, and finish it off with more beer, something a little bit fun. And that's what I'd like to do for a couple of nights there. So I'm open to areas if anybody has a gym that would host me. I know you're busy, but would you consider putting together a fun athletic-based program? Yeah, I mean, I'm not out of, that's not out of the question. I put together like a superhero-based program way back when for muscle and strength. I think it would be fun to put together something that involves running, that involves calisthenics, body weight, that involves general conditioning, maybe complexes, kettlebell complexes, barbell complexes, sometimes just, like circuits for conditioning, doing burpees, doing jump rope, doing push-ups, all that kind of stuff. I like doing that stuff, so it wouldn't be out of the question. I'm 5'10", 163, planning to cut to 150. I'm an early intermediate. My question is, in a year of bulking and then a cut, what should my body weight change? Okay, so I started about at 158 and 5'10", just for reference. So if you get to 150, what I would suggest is, if you're feeling saucy, if you're feeling scandalous, I would probably do an 18-month bulk. I would probably get up to 175, maybe a 2-year bulk. Would that be right? 18 months, 25 pounds. Maybe, I don't know. I'm a little bit shy on that. Maybe 18 months, get up to 180. I would probably do an 18-month bulk, try to get up to 180, 185. You're going to have 18 to 24 months. You're going to have a period of time where you're packing on a lot of mass if you're training hard. And then, 185, 180, 185 is a pretty good weight for 5'10". You're not going to be fat. So that's probably what I would do if I were you. This is a dumb question, but did lunges vanish from glute training? I don't know. I remember Dr. Milo Wolf, lab coat and goggles, Dr. Milo Wolf, saying lunges sucked. I tell you, man, that triggered me so much. Like, what, dude? I just want to pull this guy into the gym and make him do lunges until his wheels fell off, right? Until he begged for mercy, until he changed his mind. But that aside, you can do front foot elevated reverse lunge. You can do lunges. Lunges are a good choice. There's nothing wrong with them. So, Michael said, Guten Abend is good evening. Guten Tag, good day. How to brace your core. You kind of want to think like, I'm standing in front of you. I mean, I know Amanda's a woman, so I'm standing in front of you. Someone's standing in front of you. They're going to punch you in the stomach. They're going to, even lightly, you naturally brace, right? That's kind of how you want to think about it. Like just bracing, tightening it up. Can advanced athletes with longer training age opt for recomping? No, you can't change the game. If you want to build muscle, if you want to maximize muscle, you can't change the game. You can train hard. Training hard is always going to be the linchpin. But generally, when you see these guys that are building muscle mass, they haven't increased their body weight over. If we want to maximize it, we can't try to find ways around it just by calling ourselves an athlete. I don't care if I mean this respectfully, but I don't care what your conditioning protocol is. If you want to maximize mass, which sets a platform for longer term strength, you have to be willing to do what it takes. We're not doing fat gaining. So in an athlete, not in the non-prime season of their lifting, I would have them eat in a surplus, and because they're going to be training for a sport on the side to a minimum degree, and then we lean out afterwards. If it's an athlete that has to stay at a certain body level, then we have to do intelligent analysis of how to approach things. Got about 5 questions left, so last call. I use a powerlifting belt, but only for deadlifts above 275 and squats above 225. A trainer suggested to me the other day that not using the belt on heavy deadlifts would strengthen my core. Tell him to go kick rocks. I mean, there's no downside to not using a belt, but if you're enjoying it, there's no downside to using a belt. I mean, do what you need to do. It's a personal preference. But it's not like your core is going to be weak if you're squatting and deadlifting either way. So I wouldn't worry about it. I got 9 sets of a body part to do. Any issues doing 5 sets? No, not at all. Think of it in terms of weekly volume. The only thing you want to do is make sure you're warmed up properly. Paul Carter carries his groceries every 4 to 8 steps and puts them down, drives home, comes back tomorrow. That could well be. Mouth agape, forever gains. Yeah, I don't think agape is a word people use often, so we'll just kind of leave it at that. He did claim he was natty, which is insane. There's a couple pictures of him where he just looks amazing. Hey, I don't care what anybody does. I really don't. I don't care. I don't care what anybody does. But if I want to bet a testicle on whether somebody's not natty, well beyond natty limits. I think he said he used steroids to get that size for his role. Yeah, I just might as well admit it. I mean, who cares, right? All right, guys, that's it. Before we go, I'm going to hang around just for a second to see if you guys have any more questions. Please head over here. Check the coaching tab if you would like more information on coaching. I would love to work with you. I'm with my clients every single day, 5 days a week. If you want a custom workout, head over here. Hit custom in the search box. Also, check out my apparel. I have books. I have T-shirts, a lot of really good lifting apparel. Check that out. Gym bags, log books, all kinds of stuff. Go putz around my website. Buy something. Stock up for the winter season, for bulking season. All right, guys, that is it. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll be back next Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, and we are out.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.
This is the only video that exists of me doing this. I think I did this as a joke at a Planet Fitness because the machine was there. Yeah, don't if you want to squeeze the loaf of bread, go right ahead. But yeah, that was the only time I've ever done that exercise. You're at the Planet Fitness, they got the thing. You're like, okay, let's be a little bit silly. Let's see what other videos I can find in the archive of joy. Is there anything else? I posted the alternating dumbbell overhead press. Let's see what else we got here. Is this the skull destroyers? I got to make sure. For those of you guys not familiar with the skull destroyer, that is something that a lot of my clients use. You basically do 2 to 3 reps of a skull crusher and then 2 to 3 reps of a close grip bench. I mean, it's super light, but we're looking for cumulative fatigue. You can do this rest pause. So if you need a little bit of rest, you can rest with the bar on your chest. The goal is to get to 30 reps doing 2s or 3s. So you do a couple reps of those. You got that big old walnut head. You get to 30 total reps, resting as needed. That will absolutely destroy your triceps, and it is a lot of fun. Have you seen the Diamond Gym guys? I don't know anything about them. Maybe you guys can send me a linky poo. All right, guys, we're out of here. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next Friday.